To knock the nonsense out of yourself that you have won, you must be clearly, publicly, directly humiliated. That you, damn it, couldn't even open your mouth and say that I won. Because simply letting you just lose gracefully won't work. I mean, that's how Russia operates. To make Russia's game clear. Indeed, Russia plays a zero-sum game. And it doesn't just want to win, it wants to win with humiliation. What is the way out of this? Well, just kind of start playing. The first thing we need to do in this game is to stop playing through an intermediary. The worst game is playing through an intermediary. And why is that? Because the intermediary takes a lot for mediation and gives you nothing. This is what is obviously being shown to us now with the states. This is the first humiliation. It's the humiliation of mediation. So you are nobody. And how did you become nobody? We took and introduced resentment into the law. Oh, since you're so stubborn, we won't sit on the same hectare with you. Fine, we will just humiliate. Why did you make a move that perhaps deprives you of maneuver? What's the point?
It's like with NATO and the EU constitution.
That's a really incredible rudeness. Immediately repeal this law that prohibits you from exiting all mediation schemes. Play directly with Russia. Yes, turning a blind eye to all that. Play directly. Then there's a chance to outplay.
Well, look, there's probably a logic, right? That playing directly with Russia without the states backing you leads to the possibility of facing Russia one-on-one, which results in them crushing us.
No, they are actually not crushing us. Because we continue to resist. Playing directly with Russia doesn't mean treating the United States poorly. It means continuing to receive ongoing help from the United States by offering them something. For example, green earth metals. Yes, metals, by offering all, you continue to receive help.
We are actually focused on static service.
Yes, but simply speaking directly and playing directly, playing through an intermediary worsens your situation 1,000-fold. 1,000 times, because you kind of skip a step every time, because you ran to the intermediary, agreed, the intermediary considered their own interests, and you are constantly skipping moves, you are constantly lagging behind, you constantly can't realize any of your ideas, you can't outsmart anyone. Because the intermediary sees all your tricks and outmaneuvers them. You are not a player, essentially. To become a player, you need to play directly. Whether we like it or not, we need to play directly and negotiate with the states so that they continue to help us and play directly with Russia. To play directly, you need to change the scale of the game. You need to change the playing field. What does Russia talk about with the USA, right? About Iran, about China, about Europe, about how the Nord Stream pipeline, that is, it is building its game in the world and its implications. We are not building our game in the world. Moreover, we are not building it firmly, radically. Let's take, for example, as a case in point, to illustrate this further, remember, at the beginning of the war, we were drawing maps of how we could split Russia. So let's pose a simple question. We are playing a small game. Well, okay, we wanted to play for the cup, at least in relation to Russia. Is it possible to split Russia? Yes, it is possible. But for that, at the very least, the work of 10 different structures is needed. I will list them now. The Institute of Nation and Ethnicity in Russia, the Institute of Internal Politics of Russia, the Institute of Russian Propaganda and Counter-Propaganda, the Institute of Foreign Policy and Egopolitics of Russia, the Institute of Economics of Russia, the Institute of Russian Resource Studies, the Institute of Intelligence in Russia, the Institute of Russian Philosophy, the Institute of Russian Culture and Elites, the Institute of Russian Law. With these 10 institutes, one can seriously raise questions about the division of Russia. One can. Did we do this? No. I know, for example, that there is something like... We generally have something about the National Academy. It is mentioned on the internet that there is an Institute of Russia under the National Academy of Sciences. Well, it's clear that it doesn't work, and today it doesn't particularly interest anyone. There is the notable volunteer activity of Vladimir Grisko. Simply because he invited me to these meetings. What is the Academy of Sciences of Ukraine doing about this? What Russian institute is there? No one knows about it. There are no publications on this. And the question arises, and how exactly do you plan to effectively split this monster without having any institutional tools for it? How are you going to do it? What will you play with? With what? Well, I mean, it's a simple thing. If you want to play, you need to have some, tools for this game. What tools? So you seriously think that it will somehow work out on its own? Well, that's not a serious approach at all. I'm a beauty in the sun,